Hello, welcome to today's video. Today I'm going to be sharing about how we're finishing up our school year, our plans for summer break, and then also what we're going to be doing next year. So if that interests you, stick around. If you're new to my channel, my name is Priscilla. I share stuff all about homeschooling, cooking from scratch, motherhood, all that stuff. Okay, first for finishing up our homeschool year, I have on our chalkboard, I'll show you really quick, 7 days till summer break. For the rest of the school year, we've just been finishing up everything in our books. Some of like the smaller subjects, like not the core subjects, we got a little behind in. Things like English grammar practice and whatever, but I know we can catch up on this really quick. So my plan is to do like a little catch up the last week, because the last week we only have like 2 subjects. So last week, catch up on the rest. And then because these last few weeks haven't been as heavy of a workload, I've also been just taking this time to consider how I could do things better. We use Memoria Press, and with Memoria Press, when I first started, it felt very intimidating. And I quickly was like, okay, I'm just gonna learn what I can and start implementing it. But I definitely knew I wasn't using it to its full capabilities. So these last couple weeks, I've just been trying to figure out the different ways I can improve. So for example, with spelling, working more on dictation. Also, they recommend in the curriculum that you write out all of the words on like cards. You like highlight the consonant teams in blue and the vowel teams in red. Maybe I have that backwards. I'll show you really quick what I've been doing. So I got this off Amazon. And I mainly got the idea just because the book says to do this, but also just from like a Facebook group I'm in from Memoria Press. I saw a lot of people have these specific, I think it's called like a pocket card holder or something like that. I'll link it down below. But then you're supposed to write the consonant teams or blends in blue and then like the vowel teams in red. So I've started doing that this last week, which is funny because it's like the last couple weeks of school. But just trying to prepare for next year of like different things I can improve upon. I've shared in a previous video about how we kind of slacked on a lot of things because I was in the first trimester of pregnancy. But now I feel like I'm just like totally back to normal Priscilla. So I've been like just trying to be really on top of everything. Except I've really simplified the boys. I've shared us using the curriculum a few times, and in the boys curriculum they have like their alphabet books, their like numbers books, and then they also have coloring books to go along with each subject. I've kind of paused on the coloring books just because the weather's so nice and they just kind of want to get outside, so I just haven't been pushing it. And I really just have been trying to put a bigger emphasis on flashcards because I feel like the thing that will be most helpful to them next year is if they master recognizing their letters and knowing their letter sounds and recognizing their numbers. So that's just like been kind of my top priority with them lately. Also, another change I recently made in our homeschool right now is this. So I finally got one of these like giant calendar things. I actually didn't realize it would be this big. I think I was thinking like half this size. It's ginormous. I've really delayed getting a calendar like that because I feel like they're not the most like aesthetic thing to have hanging up in your house. But I also feel like they offer a lot and they're really fun and interactive, and yeah, include the weather and different holidays, and I don't know, I just felt like my kids would really like it. And the other calendar we have, even though it's like really cute and vintagey and whatever, we just don't use it as much. And yeah, I just feel like this one will be a lot easier. So I did figure out a way to kind of like fold them up and hang them on the other side of this like big cabinet. So they're still hidden. No offense if anyone just has them hanging up in their house. It's just our homeschool room is like our dining room. If we host people, it's in here. So it's not like a designated homeschool space. So I still want it to look very like pretty and match the rest of the house instead of just like homeschool room, if that makes sense. Okay, so now for my summer plans. Let's start with my summer plans for me. So my summer plans for myself are, one, to just really, yeah, like I was saying earlier, just immerse myself in the curriculum, just get really prepared for next year, reading through the different curriculum guides, reading through the different instructions with each subject, and just make sure that I'm using the curriculum to its full potential. I also want to take this time, in the curriculum manuals, they give you like suggested timeline. Let me see if I can get it focused. So this is an example for second grade of like a suggested timeline that they have for your day. So I really want to like go through that and my twins for kindergarten and just kind of compare them and just try to map out like what I think is the best timeline, because I feel like kindergarten this year is going to take more time than junior kindergarten did, and I just want to like figure out the best way to fit them all in together seamlessly. So that's another thing that I will be working on over the summer. Before I get on into what I'm planning to do with my children over the summer, I guess I should share what I even plan to do for our summer break, or how much time I plan to take off. The plan right now is that we'll finish May 15th. And then I usually start the first Monday of August. But since I have a baby due in October, I'm also considering the idea of maybe starting 2 weeks earlier, just so I don't feel stressed about taking 2 weeks off once the baby's born in October. But I don't know, I haven't decided on that yet. It's gonna be a good break. It's gonna be like a 10-week break. So that might even be longer than I want to have. So I don't know, that's something I obviously still just need to decide, if whether I want to start a couple weeks earlier than the first Monday of August, or just stick to like my normal routine and schedule. I know a lot of people like to do year-round homeschooling, or some people like to take a big summer break. I'm obviously still very like new. I'm a young homeschool mom. My oldest is 6 right now. But so far for me, I just feel like a break would be nice for everyone, because you know when like you would take a summer break from school and you would come back and you're just so excited for school again. I feel like a break is just amazing for that, for the kids and for me, just to get me reinvigorated and just to give me like all this time to think about like how I want to do homeschool next year, how I want to schedule things, like all the things I just listed for you. So yeah, I personally think that a break is just a good idea for our family. I also see the appeal in doing year-round homeschooling, and I have strongly considered it. I also just like having like a deadline. Like for instance, this year, I like knowing that my goal was to finish by June at the latest. But throughout the year, I knew I was set to finish like end of April. So then even if we took a couple weeks off, I was still ahead of my goal. And I just like being able to have that kind of mindset. And doing it year round, I just feel like would kind of mess with my like goal-oriented mindset. But maybe it wouldn't. Comment below if you do year-round homeschooling and what you find the benefits to be, because I'm still like open either way. We can obviously like adjust every year as we go. So now for our summer homeschool plans. For Flo, I am going to be having her do her Latin flashcards, extra math, which is just kind of like math flashcards, but it's like an online website. I've shared about it multiple times before. It's free, or you can pay $2 a year for like upgraded features, which I do. It's $2, you know? And then another thing, if you're not familiar with Memoria Press, they have recitations, which are just different like facts to memorize throughout the year. Things like the pledge, the alphabet, but then it builds all the way up to like how many cups are in a pint? When was the first flight? How many books are in the New Testament? There's just so many like questions to memorize. And we kind of slacked on those definitely in the first trimester, and we haven't really picked it back up. So what I do every week, I record audio each week and I put it on a playlist on my daughter's Yodo player. So part of my plan for her throughout the summer is for her to just listen to that every day and just try to like build up the recitations again, since we kind of slacked throughout the year. So that's another thing I don't know that I like about taking a summer break, is you can kind of use summer break to make up some things that maybe you slacked on during the year. I don't know, I'm still new, but let me know your thoughts down below, especially if you're like a seasoned homeschool mom. And then I also still plan to read with her every day. So Memoria Press, I'll share it down below because it's a super helpful resource, but they have a website, I think it's actually through their school, with suggested summer reading books. And that's a super helpful resource because it includes the Lexile levels for each book, general Lexile levels that your child should have for each grade. You want to challenge your child so that they have Lexile levels that are much higher than what they're at. But then also maybe they'll want like an easy read for encouragement every once in a while, so you could do a lower one. So these are some of the ones I picked from the list. Here's examples of the list first. So I printed out the second grade list and the third grade. All the books I bought, though, were from the second grade list. First, I got 3 more from the Billy and Blaze series for my daughter to read. And then I also estimated like how long each of these would take her if we just read every day. And I feel like these, like she could read this one in like 2 days, like each of the Billy and Blaze ones. So I feel like these would take like 6 days. And obviously this is like very shoot for the moon, reach the stars. So basically with my math, I was like, we'll finish all these in 40 days. But realistically, we're probably not gonna read every day. But I just like to like set big goals. These are really fun, by the way. They're about a boy and his horse. You read some of them. I forget if we read them in 2nd grade or 1st grade in the curriculum with Memoria Press. And she really loved them, so I thought I would get more of those. Then we got this book, My Father's Dragon, The Bears on Hemlock Mountain. She listens to her Yodo player a lot, and these are 2 stories that she's listened to on her Yodo player and loves, and I thought she would love to read like a Stepping Stones version of them. But this one is Little Women, which will be so fun, and The Wizard of Oz. So far, these are what I got. I wanted to get more, but I was like, maybe I'm like aiming too high. So I was like, I'll stop here, and then if we have more time, I can just order another book, you know, not a big deal. Another thing is whenever I order lots of books like this, either like these summer reading or like read aloud books from Memoria Press, I never order through Memoria Press because it's, you know, it's more expensive because they're all brand new books and whatever. I always order through thrift books because it's a lot cheaper, and sometimes they'll have deals where you can like earn a book by having so many points. Some of these I got from Amazon just because sometimes if you compare the prices with Amazon and thrift books, they're like the same. So if they're ever the same, I'm like, might as well just buy it brand new. So I usually like compare both before deciding where to buy it. But yeah, just a tip to save money is use thrift books. Hi, this is Priscilla from the future. I just remembered a couple things for my daughter for summer. So they also have a summer cursive book that came with her 2nd grade cursive, which I think is technically 1st grade cursive. Yeah, so for students who have completed New American Cursive 1. So she'll be doing this over the summer, which she loves this. She's excited for it. She was like, maybe I could even do it in my room. And I was like, I'm fine with that. So she'll be doing that. And then another resource they provide for summer is 100 Days of Summer Reading. So in here, they just write the title, author, and what pages they read of whatever book it was that day. They can draw a picture and then write a few sentences about it. So that's another thing we'll probably do. I'm not going to be like super strict. Like if she doesn't really want to do that, I won't make her. But yeah. Okay, bye! With my boys, it's a lot simpler because they're a lot younger and they're not reading yet or anything. My goal with them for the summer is to just work on their flashcards, really make sure they nail down their number recognition, letter sounds. I just want them to have those like totally ready to go when we start kindergarten, because I think it'll just give them like a bit of a head start, or just make sure they're like really prepared. So then homeschooling for next year, we are using Memoria Press. I've shared videos where I unboxed all of our curriculum for next year, but I still do get asked this question a lot. So we are using Memoria Press. I'm doing the full curriculum with my twins for kindergarten. They'll be 5 years old. And then for my daughter, I'm doing the whole curriculum except math. We're using Math Mammoth. It's nothing against Rod and Staff or Memoria Press. It's just because it was what she was already using when we started Memoria Press. And I've just heard like, don't switch it if it's like working well for you, or, you know, don't fix it if it ain't broken, or, you know, that type of thing. So nothing against Rod and Staff. I'm planning on using Rod and Staff for my boys. One thing I have heard is that Math Mammoth is more conceptual, and Rod and Staff is like mastery and very repetitive. And just observing my children and the way they learn, I feel like the conceptual math works great for flow. Whereas with my twins, I feel like repetition and mastery would do much better with them. So we'll see, but that's just my hypothesis for right now. A couple changes I have made since ordering the curriculum and doing the unboxing for you guys is I have first started ordering the read aloud books. I didn't order that through Memoria Press just to save money. I use thrift books like I said earlier, but they're starting to slowly come in, so I'll show you what we've got so far. Okay, I still need to organize these all better. I like to like label our books and color code them too, so that'll be another fun summer project for me. I need to check my list to see if I've got all of them, because thrift books will send in like multiple packages. Like I've probably gotten like 10 packages of books. But these are a lot of the read alouds for 3rd grade. Because I don't know if I said my daughter will be starting 3rd grade in August. They're like chapter books. And then they also have a list of picture book read alouds for 3rd grade. So I also need to order those. You know, it's just a lot of books to order. I know a lot of people always recommend going to the library and borrowing books to save money. One, I just love owning the books myself. I just love it. Two, I don't think I'm organized enough to like make sure I'm renting the right book from the library for the right week when it's in the schedule. And then I also know in the past when I've looked at that, all the books will be like checked out, like especially if it's something like a seasonal book, like they're all gone. So that's another thing. And then I also just love the idea of just having this like huge library that I get to pass down to my children. Another thing is with having baby number 6, I plan to do all of these with like all of my children. So it'd be nice if I already have the books instead of just like, I don't know, renting all these books every year for different children. I just feel like for our family, being a large family, it just makes sense to own the books. I still plan on buying the picture books for 3rd grade and the ones for kindergarten. And then I think next year I'll buy 1st grade and 4th grade. And then after that, I won't have to buy like 2 years anymore because I'll already have all of them. And then I'll just be buying for like my daughter every year. So another kind of change I made for next year, which isn't really a change. I was just going over like the 3rd grade curriculum manual and realized just kind of some holes. Because I was actually thinking like, oh, what are we doing for history next year? Because I was thinking about reading the Story of the World book that would go with it this summer. Anyways, rabbit trail. But I was looking at supplements and one of them is the 3rd grade supplemental reading for American Studies set. So I looked at that and I saw that they have a book that goes with it, but it's mostly just read alouds. So I didn't order the Memoria Press like guide that goes with it. I just got the read alouds. Maybe I will end up getting the guide. See, that's just another thing. Over the summer, I'll look into it and think about it. But that's another thing I've been ordering is all of the read alouds for American Studies. But so far, it's like Clara Barton, Christopher Columbus, A Penny's Worth of Character, Meet Thomas Jefferson, Laura Ingalls Wilder, that'll be fun, Henry Ford, Abraham Lincoln. I think there's a few more, I just need to organize it all. But I'm excited for that. That's just another add-on I did, is just kind of adding on all of the history read alouds. And yeah, that's really it for this current year, the summer, next year. I just like see this like all these books and this isn't even all of it. And it's like, I just love that this is our homeschool. I just love it. Another thing is Memoria Press offers like classes for adults and they have Latin classes for adults. And I'm like, maybe I should take that over the summer. But I'm also just not sure if now's the time. Maybe it is, you know, maybe it is. It'd probably be a good like pregnancy distraction. I don't know. I'm gonna look more into it. But yeah, so that's everything. I don't think I'm forgetting anything. Let me know down below what your summer plans are. Let me know what you think about year-round homeschooling versus taking a big summer break. It'll be nice for us because we have my sister's wedding in June. We have another wedding this month, and it'll just be nice to have like all this time off where we don't have to think about schooling during that, besides like our little stuff that we're doing. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please like and subscribe. I post videos every Tuesday and Thursday. I'll see you in the next one.